Brutalism, the word itself, evokes images of stark, imposing structures, often rendered in unforgiving concrete. It's a style that rarely leaves people indifferent. Some find it ugly, oppressive, even inhumane. Others are drawn to its honesty, its rawness, its sheer audacity. Brutalist architecture, which emerged in the mid-20th century, is a style that continues to spark debate and challenge conventional notions of beauty. At its core, brutalism is characterized by its use of raw, unfinished materials, primarily concrete. The term brutalism itself derives from the French béton brut, meaning raw concrete. This emphasis on the unadorned nature of materials reflects the movement's rejection of ornamentation and its embrace of functionalism. Brutalist buildings often feature exposed structural elements, celebrating the building's skeleton rather than concealing it beneath layers of decorative cladding. This architectural honesty extends to the building's forms. Brutalist structures are typically massive and geometric, with a monolithic quality that can be both imposing and awe-inspiring. Repetition of elements, both in form and fenestration, is a common feature, reflecting the influence of industrial architecture and mass production techniques. Brutalism wasn't merely an aesthetic choice, however. It was deeply rooted in social and political ideals. Emerging in the aftermath of World War II, the movement sought to create affordable, functional, and egalitarian spaces. Concrete, being a readily available and inexpensive material, was the perfect medium for realizing this vision. The Brutalist movement was spearheaded by a generation of architects who sought to redefine the relationship between buildings and their inhabitants. Le Corbusier, the Swiss-French pioneer of modern architecture, is often cited as a key influence. His Unité d'habitation in Marseille, France, with its exposed concrete structure and modular apartments, is considered a precursor to brutalism. In Britain, architects like Allison and Peter Smithson championed the new brutalism, a term they coined to describe their approach. Their Hunstanton School in Norfolk, England, with its exposed steel frame and prefabricated concrete panels, became a landmark of the movement. Another influential figure was Erno Goldfinger, whose Trellick Tower in London, despite initial controversy, has become a celebrated example of brutalist high-rise housing. Across the Atlantic, American architect Paul Rudolph made his mark with buildings like the Yale Art and Architecture Building in New Haven, Connecticut. This imposing structure, with its rough-hewn concrete surfaces and complex interplay of volumes, embodies the raw power and sculptural qualities often associated with brutalism. These architects, each with their unique interpretations, helped shape the brutalist movement into a global phenomenon. Their buildings, from university campuses and government offices to public housing complexes and cultural centres, left an indelible mark on the urban landscape of the 20th century. The post-World War II era saw a period of immense growth and reconstruction, particularly in war-torn Europe. Brutalism, with its emphasis on functionality, affordability, and speed of construction, seemed ideally suited to address the pressing need for housing and infrastructure. Governments embraced the style for its ability to create large-scale projects that could accommodate the booming population. In the United Kingdom, brutalism found particularly fertile ground. The rebuilding effort, coupled with the welfare state's commitment to social housing, led to a proliferation of brutalist structures. From the Barbican estate in London, a sprawling complex that attempted to create a city within a city, to the Preston bus station, a concrete behemoth that divided public opinion, brutalism came to define the architectural character of many British cities. However, the very qualities that made brutalism appealing in the post-war years would later contribute to its decline. The raw concrete surfaces, intended to express honesty and authenticity, proved difficult to maintain and susceptible to staining and weathering. The large-scale housing projects, designed with the best of intentions, often suffered from poor planning and inadequate maintenance, leading to social problems and a perception of urban blight. By the 1970s, brutalism had fallen out of favor. It became an easy target for critics who derided it as cold, inhuman, and even dystopian. The style's association with urban decay and social problems further tarnished its reputation. Many brutalist buildings were demolished, while others were covered up with cladding or otherwise altered in an attempt to soften their harsh aesthetics. Despite the widespread criticism and neglect that brutalism faced in the late 20th century, the style has experienced a resurgence of interest in recent years. This revival can be attributed to several factors. Firstly, there's a growing appreciation for mid-century architecture in general, as a new generation discovers the design sensibilities of the post-war era. Secondly, the very qualities that once made brutalism unpopular are now being re-evaluated. The rawness and honesty of concrete, once seen as cold and uninviting, are now admired for their authenticity and materiality. The massive sculptural forms, once perceived as oppressive, now inspire awe and a sense of the sublime. This renewed interest has manifested itself in various ways. Architectural photographers have trained their lenses on brutalist structures, capturing their stark beauty and highlighting their unique textures and forms. Social media platforms, particularly Instagram, have played a significant role in popularizing brutalism, with dedicated accounts and hashtags showcasing striking images of concrete behemoths from around the world. Moreover, there's a growing movement to preserve and repurpose existing brutalist buildings. Conservation efforts are underway to restore and protect these structures, recognizing their historical and architectural significance. Developers are finding creative ways to adapt brutalist buildings for new uses, transforming them into hotels, museums, art galleries, and even luxury apartments. The brutalist revival is more than just a nostalgic fascination with a bygone era. It's a recognition that these buildings, despite their flaws, represent a significant chapter in architectural history. They embody a bold experimentation with materials and form, a commitment to social ideals, and a willingness to challenge conventional notions of beauty.